A very good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Apurva ma'am, am I audible? All right. A very good afternoon and warm welcome to our esteemed guest for the day, Ms. Neha Juneja. The topic for today's session is IPR in a workshop on intellectual property rights and IP management for startup. And we have an expert in intellectual property amongst us. I welcome Neha, and thank you so much for taking out the time and scheduling all this in such a short time. So, just giving a little brief about your past experience. So, Neha Juneja is an experienced technical management and legal professional, having 9+ years work experience in strategy, consulting, government affairs, social services, legal affairs, IPR, international trade, health laws, and policy issues related public and private sector. Uh, we were colleagues in Max Planck Institute in Munich, MIPLC. She was my senior there, and she has completed her masters from Munich in intellectual property as well. So, welcome Neha for the session, and thank you so much again. Not taking much of your time and just giving the floor to you for starting with the talk. Neha, you're still. We're not able to hear you. Can you unmute yourself?
Can
Yeah.
you hear me now? Am I audible?
Yes. 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 Thank you.
Sorry, my mic was on mute. Sorry. Yeah. So thank you so much, all of you, for this warm welcome and so much of warmth. And great to see you, Divya, after very long. I would request each one of you to please open your videos. I would like to meet you in person, and if possible, and also would like to know briefly about all of you. Which are you from the same class? Are you from are you studying the same subjects? Which year of university are you in? So on and so forth. So everyone, please, can you unmute yourself one by one? Harshita, Anand, I would start with you. Can you please open your video? Switch on your video, please.
Neha, I'll just point out they are all students from law itself, and I think there might be some network issues. Everyone won't be able to pop with their videos,
Okay.
and they're my students itself, law department, whole of them they're there, and many of them yet they haven't studied intellectual property rights.
Okay.
So yes, so you can give a brief about it as per your convenience, because I think students might not be able to speak because there are some internet issues going on due to some connectivity thing. So that might be the problem. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So, hi everyone. It's a pleasure interacting with all of you. It's a pleasure, you know, being here today as a part of your entire group, and talking about my experience in IP and basically law. Okay. And as I understand from your experience, like from your current you're still, all of you are still students, and you are not exactly many of you, or few of you, have not even studied about intellectual property as yet. But briefly, would I like to explain, I'd like to explain about intellectual property. Okay, to start with, let's say, IP is something which is basically, it's an economic asset. Okay, all of you are teenagers right now. You're studying. I'm sure you have a lot of dreams, aspirations, and ideas which you want to put to use, which you want to kind of implement and execute in the long run. Maybe some of you, would have some technical ideas in future. Some of you would have some, ideas or products in future which you would like to kind of launch in the society, for the good of the society, for socio-economic purposes, so on and so forth. Okay, I'm sure in today's youth has a lot of ideas. You have a lot of kind of capability and the strength and the enthusiasm to pursue your dreams. And there's nothing fancy about it. It's the fact. There are so many new areas of technology which have been kind of invented, and which have been kind of put to use now after inventions by the youth of today. And they're all people like us, they're no different. So first of all, I would my sincere suggestion to all of you would be that think through, keep reading. First of all, just don't go by the books, okay? Just don't go by what is happening around you. It is important to experience, and based on your own experiences you would be able to kind of think about what you want to do, what new innovations can you make, because intellectual property is all about inventing, it's all about innovations, it's all about new things, new not new ideas, but I would say new products, innovative solutions which can be protected going forward. Okay, so if we talk about patents, if we talk about copyright, if we talk about trademarks, they're all part of intellectual property. There are different ways and means in which different products get protected. Okay, but if you talk about patents, patents are used to basically have a protection on innovative products like drugs, like medicines, like softwares, etc. Okay, I have extensively worked in the healthcare sector for about 6 to 7 years before joining KPMG. I used to work for WHO, and that is where and other UN agencies as well back in Switzerland and India. And in my experience, I've understood throughout this experience, throughout this period of my work in the area of intellectual property, is that IP is a very, very strong and a very powerful tool. Okay, let's say you have some idea, you have some business idea, or you want to launch a product which is of benefit to public. Let's say you want to I'm not going to go into drugs, you all are law students right now, but let's say if you want to kind of invent something which is going to be of use to women, for example. Okay, as I see, many of you are girls here. Okay, and which is something which is of great importance to women. Let's say you want to kind of innovate or invent a bag or a suitcase, which kind of which is automated. It has sensor systems, a luggage bag, okay, which can take you, which will follow your lead and go through and follow. Basically, if you're at the airport, you're going to walk towards your terminal, or you're walking and your bag is following you. Okay, that is also an innovation wherein the sensors are fit. There is some sort of a software mechanism, and there is some sort of a automated system or coding which has been done, a software coding, wherein you're able to kind of work things out, wherein your problem of carrying the luggage gets resolved. Okay, so what would you do? Let's say you have this idea, it's already there in the market, but I'm just giving you an example. It is for it can be, it is like a traveler's bag which walks on its own. So the first thought which came to my mind was, okay, I'm sure there must be a patent on this technology. How will the patent, let's say, protect your IP right? You will remain an exclusive patent holder, or you will have an exclusive right for 20 years on that product which you have invented. And for 20 years, you are going to market it at a price which is affordable, which is, let's say, there are people, there are innovators, there are scientists who sell products at much higher prices as well. Okay, who make their products and solutions available at very high prices as well. But the point is that there is a price cap on everything. There's a price cap on what you market, and there are pricing authorities which monitor that. But the good part is you will be able to protect whatever you have invented for a very long period of time, and you will be able to reap the economic benefits from it. ठीक है, आपको उस चीज का एक इकोनॉमिक बेनिफिट होगा. You will make money, you will be able to grow your business, and you will be able to come up with even newer solutions. Similarly, if you talk about copyright and trademark, so in case of copyrights, you protect works of art. Okay, any such thing which you've written, but it should be, let's say you have there are, everybody knows about Bollywood, right? So how do you think that, I'm sure there are IP rights even in on films, on scripts. Basically there are copyrights on scripts, and there are copyrights on works of art which are innovative, okay, which are innovative in nature, and which are somewhere very novel in nature. And similarly, trademarks, if you talk about, so trademarks, like you see Coca-Cola, you see Pepsi, you see Kurkure. How do you distinguish one product from another? It is because of the sign or the trademark or the name, basically, which is trademarked, which is registered as a trademark. That's how you're able to distinguish between products. That's how you're able to distinguish between Pepsi and Coke. Then there are trade secrets also. So none of us know how Coca-Cola is manufactured. None of us know how Pepsi is manufactured. Okay, it is because Pepsi, Coke, Diet Coke, all of these drinks have a trade secret. Their recipe is a trade secret. It has been given IP protection. So there are different ways, and that is why Coca-Cola gets marketed at that price, at whatever price it's being marketed. Sometimes we get it for 30 rupees, sometimes we get it for 40 rupees these days. Earlier we used to get it for 15, 20 rupees also. So the thing is, IP is an economic investment. If you have IP right on any of your products, any such thing which is very innovative, any such basically solution which would be of benefit to the society. When it comes to the healthcare sector, there are different ways in which IP protection is monitored. So basically like it's majorly trademarks and patents. So let's say there is a software, let's say there is a product, there is a software wherein you want to kind of that there is a boys must be knowing that there is a automatic razor which you use for shaving. Let's say you get a razor which has kind of a sensor, and it'll protect your skin from getting it's just an example, from getting cut or getting bruised, and it will also smoothen and soften your skin. Okay. And so there could be there are innovators, there are inventors who can actually go and prove that, okay, this is the razor, it has all of these qualities. So they will check whether it is novel, whether it is inventive, okay, whether there is any prior art means whether there is any other such product or similar product which is already existing in the market. If there is no such product, then they may be in a position to file it for patent. Or let's say there is a medicine for COVID-19. There are so many companies, there are so many pharma companies which have tried to make medicines and vaccinations which would prevent you from getting COVID infection again and again. But what is happening is that we get these vaccination doses, but still we get COVID. Like in January, I got COVID after 2 doses of vaccination. So there is no such definitive product as yet in the market which will prevent or which will completely eradicate your infection, which will completely ensure that you're COVID proof. But let's say one of you, or let's say you come in contact, let's say tomorrow you work for a law firm, you come in contact with a client who says, I have this drug, and basically I want to kind of these are the specifications of this drug and I want to patent it. Okay, so you would be, as a lawyer, let's say you become an IP litigator, or you say you become a patent agent tomorrow, or a trademark agent, depending on your interest, because all of you are future lawyers. So let's say some client comes to you, I have a product, I have a drug, I have a medicine which will ensure that COVID, you will like once you pop that pill, one time pill or two time pill, or you take that course or you take that vaccination, you will never get COVID, you will never be COVID positive again. Okay, so in that case, in that scenario, in that situation, how are you going to help your client? How are you going to evaluate whether it is actually innovative, whether that drug will ensure that you never get COVID again, or how are you going to do that? So the person who has manufactured that product, he will show you some clinical trial results also. Okay, like there are 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, 300 people have tested this product, this drug on, and they have remained safe. They did not get any infection, they remained safe, they were COVID positive, they were not COVID positive, they did not turn COVID positive even during peak waves. They remained very safe and secure. So the point is, how will you address this situation? Then you will make a case for that, then you will file a patent application for that, then you would gather all the documentation which is necessary for you to kind of talk about your client's application, or you will try to make a business case for that. Okay, so there are too many things which you would have to bear in mind. And talking about intellectual property and startups here, so basically, maybe today you're all lawyers, tomorrow you decide to get into business, and you think that you want to kind of what do you call start something of your own, launch some product, or basically you're practicing law, and at the same time you have a proposal from a friend that I have basically let's say designed some app, designed some software or something like that, which will be of economic importance. Okay, let's talk about something like mental health. I'm sure सब घर पे बैठ के बहुत परेशान हुए होंगे ड्यूरिंग कोविड. ओके, सबको बहुत स्ट्रेस हुआ होगा, कॉलेज नहीं जा सकते, पढ़ाई पढ़ाई भी ठीक से नहीं हो रही है, घर पे बैठे बैठे क्या करें, बोर हो रहे हैं. बहुत सारी ऐसी सिचुएशंस हुई होंगी और लोगों की बहुत ज्यादा मेंटल हेल्थ भी इम्पैक्ट हुई है ड्यूरिंग कोविड. एवरीवन हैज गॉन थ्रू सम ऑफ दी, किसी की फैमिली में कुछ इशू हुआ है, किसी के कोई बीमार है घर में, कोई परेशान है. सो ये सारे इश्यूज हुए हैं जिसकी वजह से मेंटल हेल्थ इम्पैक्ट हुई है. और एंड इन टूडेज टाइम, in of late, what has happened is during COVID situation, since there have been so many people impacted by COVID, even if they have not been impacted physically, but they have been impacted mentally too much, way too much. Even I got impacted. So there are so many startups which have come up with apps on mental health, wherein you can actually go and put your queries or put your questions in the app that I'm feeling very anxious right now, I'm feeling very stressed right now. Okay, so how do I address my anxiety, how do I resolve this situation wherein I'm feeling anxious, what therapies should I kind of take up? So before even connecting you to a therapist or a psychologist who can, or a doctor who can resolve the problem, the app, which is an AI based app, that is artificial intelligence based app, that helps you even in the middle of the night to resolve your problems, to put you to sleep. I'm sure each one of you are aware of this app called Calm, CALM. यूट्यूब वगैरह कहीं पे भी जाओगे, इसके बारे में बहुत पढ़ा होगा, देखा होगा, एड्स भी देखे होंगे, that you play some calming music and it will put you to sleep. You can talk to a chatbot, which is an artificial intelligence based chatbot, and you can try to make him your friend. They will be able to, you put in your questions that I'm feeling very anxious, I want to cry, or I'm feeling very stressed. So आप ऐसे questions डालोगे. So how do you think these apps are programmed? They are software programmed. उनके सॉफ्टवेयर पे कोई ना कोई आईपी तो जरूर होता है, कोई ना कोई इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी तो होगी, कोई ना कोई पैटेंट तो होगा उसको प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए, क्योंकि वो एक ऐप बना रहे हैं. ठीक है, दे वांट टू प्रोटेक्ट उसका पूरा कोड. ऐसे ही काम है, काम में लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग होती है म्यूजिक की. ठीक है, ऐसा म्यूजिक जो आपको स्लीप में हेल्प करे या रिलैक्स करने में हेल्प करे. सो कहीं ना कहीं इन एप्स में जो म्यूजिक भी स्ट्रीम होता है उस पे कॉपीराइट होता है. ठीक है, and because they want to own that music, they want to have the ownership of that music. IP is all about ownership. IP is all about encashing your ownership basically. कि मैं अगर अगर कोको कोला के पास आज की डेट में ट्रेडमार्क ना हो और ट्रेड सीक्रेट ना हो, तो कोई भी कोको कोला का ये रेसिपी कॉपी करके बना सकता है, बट दैट इज नॉट हैपनिंग, नो. So how is IP helping in all of this? IP is helping in a great way. As I said, it's a very powerful tool. So basically, IP may in all of these cases, as I said, a software app for treating mental health, a medicine or a vaccination which will resolve COVID situation and which will help people develop immunity against COVID. That is what you call, that deserves an IV protection. Like आपने देखा होगा कोविशील्ड कोवैक्सिन आपने लगाई in this time during COVID. ठीक है, ये अभी गवर्नमेंट ने सबको लाइसेंस कर दी क्योंकि इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन थी, लेकिन इनके प्राइसेस इतने हाई क्यों हैं? क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं इनके ऊपर पेटेंट्स फाइल हुए हैं, इनका जो पूरा फॉर्मूला है उसके ऊपर पेटेंट्स हैं. ऐसी कोई अगर ऐप है जिसका कोई बहुत ही इनोवेटिव सोल्यूशन ऑफर कर रही है, अगर जिसने सबसे पहले लॉन्च करी होगी, तो उसने तो कहीं ना कहीं उसको आईपी प्रोटेक्ट किया होगा फॉर any solution for any for anything which solves your problem basically, or anything which is of use to you, which is of great economic importance basically. So on everything in today's time, for many things in fact, there is intellectual property. And startups में क्या होता है? Startups में लोग startups तो startup और entrepreneurship में they enter, but they think that all we need is right now, when you enter into a startup, let's say tomorrow you're 22 years old and you want to get into you want to launch a startup of your own, or you want to become an entrepreneur. What all issues or what all things you need to keep in mind before launching or starting any business? First, you have to think through whether your idea or whether your solution to the problem, whatever problem is it that you're out there to address, is very strong. Okay, if it can be easily copied, then there is no point. It will be easily copied. Then anybody can launch that thing in the market, and anybody can claim ownership on it, which is not what you want. You want to make money out of your business, and at the same time you want to help people also. You want your product to be very saleable basically. You want your product to be saleable out there in the market. You want your product to be available, readily available in the market, but at your own cost and price, so that you also earn profit from it. You also have an economic benefit from it. Basically, it is an economically beneficial product to you. So how would you basically address this problem? First of all, as I said, your idea, your product, or whatever your formula is, it should be innovative. Next, what people basically want is, let's say you're a startup, you will have some angel investors. I don't know if any of you have heard this term called angel investments. Basically your seed investment. जब आप लेट्स से आप कोई बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर रहे हो, कोई मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्लांट लगा रहे हो, कोई मेडिसिन बना रहे हो, कोई प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हो, कोई बिस्किट बना रहे हो जिसका बहुत ही डिफरेंट टेस्ट है, जिसका बहुत ही डिफरेंट फॉर्मूला है, कोई शुगर फ्री प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हो लेट्स से, ठीक है, या कोई ऐसा सॉफ्टवेयर लॉन्च कर रहे हो जिसका जो आज तक वर्ल्ड में किसी ने नहीं बनाया हुआ, किसी ने भी लॉन्च नहीं किया हो, एंड उसका कोई पब्लिक पे बेनिफिट है, या आप ऐसा कोई भी काम कर रहे हो जिसमें you think you're going to benefit from it. Basically you are going to economically benefit, and there will be socio-economic benefits or social benefits to the society as well. So आपको सोचना पड़ेगा कि मैंने अपने 10 रुपए लगाए, let's say for example, कोई 10 रुपए नहीं लगाता बिजनेस में, but I'm just telling you, let's say you put in 10 rupees and you want someone else also to put in 100 rupees. ठीक है, आपके बिजनेस में आप 10 रुपीज लगा रहे हो और आप सोच रहे हो कि 100 रुपीज लगाने के लिए मैं किसी को ले आऊं, कोई इन्वेस्टर को ले आऊं, तो आपकी अगर आईपी स्ट्रांग नहीं होगी अपनी, या फिर आपका कोई प्रोडक्ट स्ट्रांग नहीं होगा, तो आपको लगता है आपके बिजनेस में कोई इन्वेस्ट करेगा? नहीं करेगा। वो इसलिए नहीं करेगा बिकॉज उसको कोई सिक्योरिटी नहीं होगी। और उसको सिक्योरिटी कब मिलेगी? जब उसको समझ में आएगा कि अच्छा ये प्रोडक्ट तो अच्छा है और इस पे आईपी प्रोटेक्शन भी है। एंड सिंस इस पे आईपी प्रोटेक्शन है, ये प्रोडक्ट भी अच्छा है, तो मैं इसमें सोच सकता हूँ पैसा लगाने के लिए। आई कैन थिंक अबाउट इन्वेस्टिंग मनी इनटू दिस प्रोडक्ट, इनटू दिस बिजनेस. I can think about supporting this entrepreneur. In order to garner and in order to get that support from, in order to get that investment support from people around you, you need to actually put IP protection and IP management in place. आपको इंश्योर करना पड़ेगा कि कोई आपके जितने भी लीगैलिटीज हैं, उसमें जितना भी लीगल फ्रेमवर्क है वो रिजॉल्व है. अगर आपका कोई ऐसा प्रोडक्ट है जिस पे आपका पेटेंट हो सकता है, तो आपको इंश्योर करना पड़ेगा कि आपने पेटेंट के लिए एटलीस्ट अप्लाई किया है और आपका फर्स्ट राउंड क्लियर हो गया, या आपको कोई होप है, या आपको पेटेंट ऑफिस से कोई रिस्पॉन्स आया है wherein they say that okay, you know, first round of review is done, please address these queries and then we'll put forth your application. You will have to have some IP measures in place. Number two, let's say, and similarly it goes for copyright, trademark, anything in which you are expecting an investment, you are expecting in any which way, your product will only get marketed. Even if you market your product on your own, your product will only get marketed if and when there is a proper IP protection on it. Because in many situations what happens is, if it can be easily copied, then somebody who's putting money in your business will also be threatened, because usko lagega अच्छा मैं तो ये तो कर रहा है ये काम, इसमें मैंने 100 रुपीज लगा दिए, अब कोई और भी ऐसा बिजनेस खड़ा कर लेगा सेम प्रोडक्ट का, तो मेरा तो माय मनी विल गो इनटू वेन. Here, whatever I've invested, I will not be able to recoup benefits from it. I will not be able to recoup my investment. तो आपको अपना बिजनेस एज अ स्टार्टअप, एज अ यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर लॉन्च करने के लिए यू विल नीड सपोर्ट. इवन मेनी ऑफ यू विल थिंक कि अच्छा मैं अपना बिजनेस शुरू करना चाहता हूँ अपने फादर से अलग या अपने पेरेंट्स से अलग, बट at the same time I need investment from my parents. So what will your father or mother say? They will say ki what is it that is new, what is it that is worth investing in? If I'm investing my 100 rupees or 1000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees or 1 crore rupees in your business, what is the guarantee that in 5 years time I will get 5 crores out of it? What is the guarantee that this will become double, or at least it will go 5 times or 2 times or 3 times or whatever? Because आप अगर किसी चीज में 100 रुपए लगा रहे हो तो आप एक्सपेक्ट करोगे कि आपको एटलीस्ट 120 या 110 रुपए तो मिले मिनिमम इन द बिगिनिंग, या ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट पे तो हो कि 110 भी नहीं मिल रहा तो 105 रुपए मुझे 5 रुपीज का तो बेनिफिट हो. लेकिन अगर मेरी चीज कोई और कॉपी करके ले गया, मैंने कोई बिस्किट बनाया जिसकी जिसपे मैंने बोला ये शुगर फ्री है या ये लैक्टोज फ्री है, इसमें मिल्क भी नहीं है और ये टेस्ट भी बहुत अच्छा करेगा और ये मल्टीग्रेन बिस्किट है, ठीक है, एंड इसे ये ह्यूमंस के लिए भी है और ये डॉग्स के लिए भी. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग एन एग्जांपल, ओके, बिकॉज ऐसा कोई बिस्किट अभी तो नहीं मेरे को लगता है जो ह्यूमंस और डॉग्स के लिए कॉमन है, बट ये एनिमल्स के लिए भी है और ये ह्यूमंस के लिए भी है. It is not going to be, kind of, it will not have any adverse impact on either humans or dogs or animals for that matter. So let's say you launch something like this. आप कैसे मेक श्योर करोगे कि आपका प्रोडक्ट हिट हो मार्केट में या आपके पास कोई इन्वेस्टर आए? So you will have to, first of all, as an entrepreneur, as a startup entrepreneur, as a business person, you have to first of all protect your IP. You don't have to tell about your innovation to anybody, because if you tell about your innovation to anyone, everybody will go and copy it. Let's say अगर आप कभी मार्केट में जाते हो या आपको लगता है मुझे ये बिजनेस करना है और आपने जाके अपने ये सोचा कि अरे ये मेरा बेस्ट फ्रेंड है, मैंने इसे सब कुछ बता दिया, उसने जाके अपनी फैमिली में बोला अरे ही इज प्लानिंग दिस काइंड ऑफ बिजनेस, मुझे भी करना है, एंड उसकी फैमिली बोलते अच्छा ठीक है तुम कर लो और हम तुम्हारे को सपोर्ट कर देंगे, तो मतलब आपका तो आइडिया चला गया ना किसी और के पास. before coming to light, it is already died, because then you can't do it. If he is the first inventor, if he is the first person who's inventing that, then your innovation is already gone. So first rule is not to tell about your innovations, your inventions to anyone till the time, and if you think they are actually inventive and novel, अगर वो बिल्कुल नहीं है तो आपको किसी को नहीं बताना अपने प्लान्स के बारे में, till the time you have a legal IP protection. अगर कोई प्रोडक्ट है उस पे पेटेंट है तो उसके बाद आपको जब पेटेंट मिल जाए, then you can put it out there in the market, either for any sort of acquisition, any sort of licensing agreement or something, उस तरीके से कर सकते हो. अगर आपका कोई वर्क ऑफ आर्ट है, then you can basically think about having a copyright protection on it. अगर आपका कोई प्रोडक्ट है कोको कोला टाइप, तो आप सोच सकते हो कि मैं इसका नाम क्या रखूं और उस पे मैं एक ट्रेडमार्क लगा दूं. बेसिकली कोको कोला इन itself is a trademark, Pepsi in itself is a trademark. Okay, Lay's, this what you call Pepsi का जो that chips pack Lay's also has a trademark. All of these have registered trademarks. That is how they get distinguished from other products. So tomorrow, if you become an entrepreneur, you have to put in mechanisms which will protect your products. And that will be only through intellectual property. You have to make sure that whatever is it that you are putting out there is new. Whatever is it that you're putting out there is innovative. Whatever it is that you're kind of trying to market, it has a good market value. Okay. People want to come forward and invest into your product, and all that can only be achieved when you put proper IP mechanisms into place. Okay, and without intellectual property, if you try to kind of consider, you have to keep all of these considerations. क्योंकि अगर कोई भी invest करना चाहेगा आपके business में scale up करने के लिए, then you will have to have a proper strategy planned. You have to put in place IP protections before they even invest in your company. What will they come to invest in for? They will only come to invest in if you have some IP protection in your company. And also if you want to, let's say, market your products abroad going forward. आपने सोचा अच्छा अभी मेरा business इंडिया में stable है, लेकिन मुझे क्या बोलते हैं, कुछ अपना प्रोडक्ट है उसको अमेरिका में सेल करना है या यूरोप में सेल करना है, तो आपको ये भी देखना पड़ेगा कि उन कंट्रीज के आईपी रेगुलेशन क्या है, ट्रेड एंड आईपी रेगुलेशन क्या है. इज दिस प्रोडक्ट सेलेबल इन यूरोप? कैन यू सेल इट इन दैट jurisdiction? Whether you are a lawyer or you're an entrepreneur come lawyer, you will have to see both the things. अगर आप किसी क्लाइंट को एज अ लॉयर एडवाइस करो, तब भी आपको ये बताना पड़ेगा अच्छा आपको जापान में प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च करना है तो जापानीज जुरिस्डिक्शन के हिसाब से क्या क्या आईपी लॉस है, क्या क्या पेटेंट लॉस है उनके, वहां का पेटेंट एक्ट उठा के आपको पढ़ना पड़ेगा. क्या ये सेम कुछ क्लॉजेस सेम है, कुछ क्लॉजेस रेजोनेट करते हैं, चाहे आपको कॉपीराइट हो, ट्रेडमार्क हो, पेटेंट्स हो, डिजाइन्स हो, geographical indications हो, कुछ भी हो, कोई भी any form of IP tool which is out there for protection, you will have to go through that jurisdiction's act or that jurisdiction's law to figure out whether this product can be protected there, and then you will have to file another patent application or another copyright registration or trademark registration for that matter. So in all these cases, and softwares maybe, let's say you're launching some innovative app, you have to see whether it is an open source component or it has it is available out there in public and it is for free. Many times क्या होता है, everything which looks free to us is not free. आपने एक ऐप यूज करके कोई और ऐप बनाई, लेकिन जो आपने ऐप का सपोर्ट लिया वो फ्री थी, उसका लाइसेंस ओपन था, ठीक है, तो आपका क्या रिस्क है उसमें? एक आईपी रिस्क है कि कोई कोई भी आके आपके प्रोडक्ट को या आपकी ऐप को हैक कर सकता है. दे कैन मिसयूज इट, they cannot they can actually misuse it, they can actually copy it, they can do whatever they want with it. So ये सब आपको रिस्क असेसमेंट्स करने पड़ेंगे अगर आप एक एंटरप्रेन्योर बनते हो. अगर आप एक लॉयर की तरह किसी को गाइड करते हो, यू आर एन आईपी लिटिगेटर और यू आर अ पेटेंट एजेंट, रजिस्टर्ड पेटेंट एजेंट, रजिस्टर्ड कॉपीराइट एजेंट और अ ट्रेडमार्क एजेंट फॉर दैट मैटर, तो आपको बताना पड़ेगा अच्छा किसी को कोई सोप लॉन्च करना है, सोप का नाम रखना है उसको आई डोंट नो we have a lot of soaps in the market. Jaise, you have Nirma, you have Santoor, you have I don't know, Tide, which is a washing powder. But आपसे Tide की जगह मैं अपना नाम, अपनी प्रोडक्ट का नाम रखना चाहती हूँ कुछ और. I want to keep it जैसे सर्फ है, so surf, Tide. You want to keep something like blue shine, white shine, something like that, some random name. Okay, तो आपको पहले एक ट्रेडमार्क एजेंट, एज अ ट्रेडमार्क एजेंट हाउ वुड यू गाइड पीपल. अच्छा, ये ऑलरेडी लिस्ट ऑफ ट्रेडमार्क्स हैं जो मैं इंडियन पेटेंट ऑफिस की या इंडियन पेटेंट एंड ट्रेडमार्क ऑफिस की साइट पे देख रही हूँ, इसमें ऑलरेडी ये नेम रजिस्टर्ड है, तो आप प्लीज कोई और नेम चूज करिए. ठीक है. ऐसे ही अगर आप पेटेंट, you're out there to launch a patent on some product जो एक नहीं है, आपको लगता है वो नहीं है, बट ऑलरेडी आप कहोगे ऐसा एक प्रायर आर्ट है, मतलब ऐसा एक पहले प्रोडक्ट बन चुका है. अगर आपका प्रोडक्ट उस प्रोडक्ट के साथ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में है, then you will not be able to somewhere launch it. Then you will be having questions from the patent and trademark department office. Then you will even have questions from your own lawyer. He will have, because you would be, or let's say you would be having questions from your client as a lawyer. You would say, this is already there, why do you think it's innovative, why do you think it is novel, do you think it kind of fulfills all the requirements of a new patent, of novelty, of inventiveness. So ये सब patent law के under you're going to read about it. As you move forward, you will read about what is a patent, what is a trademark, what is a copyright law, what is design rights, what are geographical indications. Geographical indications, for example, you बहुत सारे बच्चों को पता होता है आपको चीज पसंद है, so जैसे फिलाडेल्फिया चीज होती है एक, आई डोंट नो इफ यू हर्ड अबाउट इट, या कोई भी जगह, या फिर मैं कहूँ कि ये मैंगोज जो हैं वो किसी स्टेट से इंडिया में आ रहे हैं और उन मैंगोज का नाम जो है उस स्टेट के नाम पे रखा है, दैट मीन्स दैट इज ज्योग्राफिकल इंडिकेशन. वो ज्योग्राफी से वो मैंगोज आ रहे हैं, इसलिए उस मैंगो का जो नाम है, जो साइन है, दैट विल be reflected in the geography or the geographical location of that place. So मैं बहुत briefly बता रही हूँ आपको कि all of these things will matter in future. Just remember, IP is a very powerful economic tool which can actually help you in growing your business or growing your whatever career opportunity you have or whatever career path you have in a very, very productive fashion. You will read for every country there is an IP law. सिर्फ एक बुक नहीं होती है, एक एक्ट नहीं होती, पेटेंट्स के लिए अलग होती है, कॉपीराइट के लिए अलग होती है, ट्रेडमार्क के लिए अलग होती है. सारे मेजर आईपी टूल्स के लिए एक अलग अलग, आईपी प्रोटेक्शन टूल्स के लिए एक अलग लॉ, एक अलग एक्ट होता है. When we studied in Europe, when I studied in Germany, I think I remember studying at least 3 to 4 I remember at least studying laws of at least 3 to 4 countries. America, Europe, Germany, Europe, Japan, India. So उस टाइम पे हमने डिफरेंट हमारे भी ऐसे एक्सपर्ट लेक्चर्स होते थे. वी आल्सो यूज्ड टू गो थ्रू दीज एक्ट्स. फॉर एवरी कंट्री देयर इज अ डिफरेंट पेटेंट एक्ट, फॉर एवरी कंट्री देयर इज अ पेटेंट different copyright act, for every country there is a different trademark law, trademark act. So it is not a standard thing, it's not a standard law which is applicable globally. As you move forward, you will read about international IP laws as well, like you will read about patent cooperation treaty. WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, is the world's only IP organization wherein people go, wherein innovators or scientists go, and they basically file their patent applications when they want to file their, when they want to protect their innovation or their products in multiple countries. Let's say you want to protect your innovation in 10 different countries. Instead of filing 10 applications, you file one application with WIPO, and according to the PCT route, you tick mark those countries. Let's say you want to you want to get patent protection in Germany, you want to get patent protection in Switzerland, Austria, Ireland, UK, क्रोएशिया और whatever country, और जापान, चाइना. आप बोलोगे मेरे को 10 कंट्रीज में पेटेंट फाइल करना है, या पेटेंट प्रोटेक्शन चाहिए अपने किसी मेडिसिन पे या किसी प्रोडक्ट पे, so then WIPO will facilitate that. You have to pay certain fees at every step for registration, for application, for submission of documents. There is a complete protocol and there is a course on it, which I would encourage all of you to do at some point in time. Jinko IP mein interested, it's a free course on WIPO's website. I think I did it 10 years back, and I'm sure that basic course, that introductory course is still there, and there are many other courses. There is even a lot of subject matter on IP and startups, but I would still encourage you to first briefly read about the basic nitty-gritties and the basic course. Do some basic course on IP. I'm sure in your college also, in your university also, you would be doing it. But going forward, first read about what is intellectual property, how can it benefit the society, how can it benefit your own economic growth, how can you contribute to the GDP of the nation through IP. If you market new products, you're going to obviously pay income tax, you're obviously going to have an income, and that is how you're also going to add and contribute to the GDP of the country, gross domestic product. So what you call, there are so many ways in which IP can be used. There's so many ways in which you can become an IP professional. If you want, you can become an entrepreneur and an IP expert. If you want, you can become you can become an IP litigator or a patent agent or a trademark agent and help people get IP protection. Okay, if you want, you can become you can get into policy making when it comes to IP. Like, I worked in the area of policy making. I did not practice I did not I also practiced IP in law firms briefly, but then I was more keen on doing the policy part. So I was doing intellectual property, international law, policy making, and international affairs basically. So I was working with the UN agencies, and there we used to actually see as to how IP is in some ways beneficial, and in other ways, is posing an obstacle in matters in some of the areas of international trade, international relations, etc. So that was a very high level discussion which we used to have earlier. But for you all, I would still encourage that first, those of you who have not studied any course on IP, those of you who have no idea about IP as of now, I would encourage you, all of you, to kind of gather some knowledge about it, and as a matter of fact, go through some of the books, read some of the articles online in the meantime, because as a lawyer, we are always required to carry acts and laws handy. We are always required to consult them before executing anything, before making any decisions. But at the same time, in order to garner business knowledge, in order to garner knowledge about how to kind of launch your business, how to kind of converge intellectual property with your business, how can you implement that in whatever you want to do, in whatever profession you want to pursue in future. If it is around intellectual property, then IP and business go hand in hand. Read about it, read about how your business is, if you want, if you have some ideas how you would like to implement them, where IP would come into play, because for everything which is innovative, there is an IP protection which is needed. Somebody has a question. So hi Ashwarya.
Question.
Yeah.
If we talk in respect of India or outside,
Yes.
ma'am, getting IPR protection is a bit expensive. So, ma'am, is there any government policy, government scheme, or any initiative taken by the YPO in this concern?
Yes. If you talk about, let's say, about Startup India.
Yes, ma'am.
There are different schemes of government, especially if I talk about Government of India. Okay, I may not be in a position to talk much about Europe or America, because if you want to protect your let's say a product, or if you want to have patent protection in any other country, you have to go by their rules. There may be some policies in place for budding entrepreneurs and for new for
Because ma'am, this is true that, you know, there are various schemes by the ministries as well, just
Yes.
for the startups only. But
Yes.
ma'am, only in terms of IPR protection.
Yeah, so basically when you talk about schemes like Startup India, or you talk about any up to government ki bahut sare schemes hai. There are many schemes if you actually go through. So end to end they provide a turnkey support. Basically it's just not about launching business or giving you investment. Giving investment is also not easy. So they will actually evaluate your proposal. They will evaluate everything. They will also see whether you need IP protection. And if you go through ministry's route, or if you are, let's say, if you're one of those budding entrepreneurs who get selected amongst the first 100 entrepreneurs who have something innovative, who have an innovative product or who want to kind of launch the product in the market. So obviously under these policies, there is a clause on IP protection also. For everything, Aishwarya, whether you talk about, incorporating a company, whether you talk about launching a product, in every policy, in every, legal document, there is IP which plays a role. So let's say you approach Startup India, invent this, what you call, there is one more thing, Startup India is there is Invest India. Okay, so you go for investment. That does not mean that they will only help you invest money, or they will only help you get investors. They will also look into your intellectual property. They will also make provisions for you, or they will also promote you through a channel, maybe wherein you have to pay less for your patent application fee, or you're one of those innovators, you're one of those inventors who have a very unique solution to resolve a problem, and they say, oh, this would be of great use to government will also take this product, okay, on a licensing fee or whatever. And it can also benefit people and organizations individually. So the point is, if you talk about going through these routes, they just don't facilitate your IP portfolio or IP management, or they just don't advise you on this. They also advise you on other factors. Sab pe karte hain, end to end. They will help you do market linkages also for your product. They will help you get in touch with investors also. They will help you build a network also. They will help you in the IP management also. They will advise you on how to protect your innovations also. So they do everything. It's not just one, a single area which they explore or they guide you on. Because if you want to launch a business, it is not just IP, it is not just product, it is not just money, it is everything. It is like a cocktail, basically. You need all the ingredients to make that cocktail.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am.
Did you get some clarity? Did it answer?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So the thing is, you have to see all the areas, because सिर्फ मैंने 10 रुपए या 100 रुपए या 1 करोड़ लगा दिया business में, that does not solve my problem. I have to understand all the risks which I am taking, or which I am, I need to evaluate all the risks which could pose a threat to my economic stability, or to my business, or to my investment. And at the same time, I need to actually see whether this product is lucrative, whether this is useful in the long run. चाहे मैंने उसमें 1 करोड़ लगाया, तो क्या मैं 10 years या 5 years में ये 1 करोड़ रिकूप कर पाऊंगी कि नहीं? कहीं इसमें कोई licensing issue तो नहीं आएगा? I hope this product does not get copied. All of these are going to be my questions as an investor. And I am going to ask this to an innovator. I am going to ask this to an inventor, a scientist, or anybody, or a software engineer who's launching some app, or who's launching, or a scientist, or a medical scientist, or a doctor, or anybody, or a lab scientist, that okay, you're launching this, or you're innovating this antibiotic or this medicine for COVID, and will this last? Will this give COVID protection to patients in the long run or not? Then only I will invest. तो ये एक छोटी सी चीज नहीं होती. It's a very lengthy procedure. It's like hours and rounds of discussions, rounds and rounds of deliberations, wherein you have to think through, you have to evaluate that, if I'm investing in R&D, how much money will I be able to recoup over a period of time? If I am investing in marketing, how will the marketing take place? So everything you need, there are different steps. First is your product. Number one, what product are you going to launch, and how are you going to, kind of launch that product? How are you going to manage that, basically? Number two, do you have enough investment to scale that product? Or what are the legalities, first of all, you have to see, or what are the procedures and management systems and all the operational requirements which you need to fulfill before launching your product? Number three, do you have enough money to kind of market your product? Or do you have a networking channel through which you can market your product or your services? So business is about all of these things. It's just not like कि अच्छा मैंने वहां पे एक वर्कशॉप बना दी, उसमें जाके सारे मशीन्स लगा दिए, मैंने प्रोडक्ट्स तो निकाल दी, बट मेरे पास बेचने के लिए कोई है ही नहीं, कोई सेलर ही नहीं, कोई बायर ही नहीं है. आई एम द सेलर बट आई डोंट हैव अ बायर. You can't do that, because then you will not earn anything out of it. या आपने सोच लिया कि मेरी लिमिटेड मार्केट है, मैंने एक बिस्किट बनाया है या एक सोप बनाया है, तो मैं इसे 15 लोगों को बेचूंगा अपने गांव में या इस सिटी में. आई विल ओनली बी सेलिंग इट टू 1 lakh people, not 1 lakh, not 1 lakh 1, not 1 lakh 2, not 99,000. I'm just going to be selling it. That ऐसे तो कोई बिजनेस नहीं ऑपरेट करता. सो आपको सारी चीजें 1 to 10 or 1 to 100 or A to Z, you have to look into everything. Whether it is, launch, whether it is about how innovative your product is, what are the legal, getting the product, the analysis of your product in terms of IP, whether it can be protected or not. If it cannot be protected, then other than that, how are you going to launch it? Will you be having an exclusive right for a period of 20 years? Let's say if the product is, gets protected by patent. If that product gets protected by patent, then nothing like it. But let's say you're also launching, like in pharmaceutical specifically, I would say, एक innovator drug होता है, एक innovator molecule होता है, और एक generic product होता है. जैसे aspirin जो है, जो paracetamol होती है, आप सबको पता होगा paracetamol से headache ठीक होता है, या नहीं भी पता तो मैं बता देती हूँ. So paracetamol is no longer has a patent. Maybe some 30-40 years back it had a patent on it, because that time it was new. But then everybody, after 20 years, when the patent expired, everybody started making paracetamol. अभी आपको कोविड में बहुत लोगों को जिनको कोविड हुआ है, सो डॉक्टर ने बोला होगा आप डोलो खा लो, या डॉक्टर ने बोला होगा आप जीरोडॉल खा लो, या कोई भी डिस्प्रिन खा लो. सो सब में पैरासिटामोल है. How is it possible that each of these products have paracetamol? Because paracetamol was a chemical, was an ingredient which earlier had patent protection. It could resolve your headaches. Now it does not have. So therefore, there is a generic product, the same product which is being copied after the patent has exhausted on paracetamol, and it is being launched under different trademarks or different scientific names. The names have changed. कोई बोलता है डोलो, कोई बोलता है कोई और प्रोडक्ट. तो हर फॉर्मूला वही है, नाम अलग अलग है, डिफरेंट फार्मा कंपनीज बना रही हैं, क्योंकि अब उसके ऊपर पेटेंट नहीं है. जब पेटेंट एक्सपायर हो गया, देन एनीबडी एंड एवरीबडी इज फ्री टू यूज दैट, और एनीबडी एंड एवरीबडी इज फ्री टू मैन्युफैक्चर दैट. सो there is another way. This is the way when, let's say you're not an innovator, but you're a generic company. Generic means you are making those products जिनका अब पेटेंट नहीं है. बहुत सारी कंपनीज है जो मल्टा वाइटामिन्स भी बनाती हैं. आई एम श्योर यू ईटन. कोई किसी नाम से बनाती है, कोई लिक्विड फॉर्म में बनाती है, कोई कैप्सूल फॉर्म में, कोई टैबलेट फॉर्म में बनाती है. सो बहुत सारे मल्टा, उसमें दे विल से ओके देयर इज it's a cocktail. The tablet is a cocktail of multivitamin A, B, C, D, whatever. And there is another company. There is company A. There is company B. They are both making the same. They are both making a similar product, but there could be a possibility that one company is making in the powder form and another company is making in the form of a capsule, marketing it or selling it in the form of a capsule or a tablet. So the point is, उनके ऊपर पेटेंट नहीं है, इसलिए वो जेनेरिक है. तो जेनेरिक कंपनीज आर आल्सो अर्निंग मनी by selling these products, but obviously their economic benefits are not as high as the innovator company. Like innovator companies के अगर मैं example दूं, Nestle is an innovator company, Pfizer is an innovator company. You may or may not have heard these names, but I'm sure you have heard names. You have heard the name of Cipla, या किसी ने कभी रैनबैक्सी, किसी की फैमिली में कोई फार्मास्यूटिकल्स में काम करता हो तो उनको पता होगा. Yeah. In products for medicines and drugs, there are no trade secrets. Basically, there are only patents. That is also something which you should bear in mind. For artworks, for innovative works for creative works, for films, for poetry, etc., there are copyrights. So there are people who get their books copyrighted. They write fiction, they write philosophical books. वो सब अपनी बुक्स पे कॉपीराइट करा लेते हैं. कॉपीराइट करवाते हैं तभी इतनी एक्सपेंसिव बुक्स भी सेल करते हैं, नहीं तो हर कोई कॉपी करके घूमता रहेगा वो, और वो सेल करता रहेगा अपने नाम के अंडर. Anybody can get those printed. That's why these people go get their products or they get their works of art copyrighted, and then they sell. They have an agreement or a exclusive licensing agreement with some publishing company, and then that's how they market their products. And same goes for trademarks also. So I think Divya, Apurva, I think we are
Yes,
done.
Neha.
I don't know how useful was it to all of you, but
Yeah, I think it's actually a wonderful session, but the students probably they are leaving because they are having their class scheduled at 4:10. So that's why most of them they were leaving. But it is actually very interesting. It was very interesting, and for me, it was a brush up of all the IPR that we had done,
yeah.
And certainly all the students they do have questions. They were asking me certain questions too. So I'll jot down the questions. I'll forward them to you, and then I can tell them, right? And
I was just trying to be as generic as possible because there are many
certainly.
people who do not. There are many students. I'm sure they have not studied
They've
IPS.
not studied. Yes, many of them were not aware about what precisely IPR is. But it was really a very wonderful session, Neha. I hope we can have you again with us at some point as well.
Definitely.
And if
I would actually really want I would like to, if there's a possibility, maybe they all could be put in one class and they could be connected to a projector. That would be great.
certainly.
Have an interactive session.
Certainly, we'll do that next time, and I hope some point of time we can have you here in the university as well with us.
That would be great. I would be happy to come.
Certainly. So again, thank you so much for a wonderful session, for your time, and for managing everything just in this bit short time, right?
Divya, thanks a lot for this, opportunity for, which you've given me. Really appreciate that, and lovely speaking to you. And let's catch up soon again, all of you. Good luck to you. Good luck to you all, and take care.
Thank you so much, Neha. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye. You too.